Let's talk about major sentence errors. There are three evils in writing: fragments, run-on sentences, and comma splices. Let's take a look at their definitions. A sentence fragment is a type of sentence that might look like a sentence because it ends with a period or other punctuation, but it usually leaves the reader hanging waiting for more to follow. A run-on sentence is just the opposite of a fragment. It looks like one sentence, but it is actually two sentences run together without punctuation. A comma splice consists of two independent clauses joined by a comma only. This is only slightly less irritating to a reader or teacher than a fragment or run-on sentence. Let's take a closer look at fragments. Fragments will not contain an independent clause, and they will not express a complete thought. And there are 5 common types of fragments. Prepositional phrase fragments, such as instead of watching television. Infinitive phrase fragments, such as to dance with the bride at a Mexican wedding. Participle phrase fragments, walking in the park Tuesday. Noun phrase fragments, such as John Lennon, known for being the lead singer of the Beatles. And dependent clause fragments, such as after we eat dinner. Prepositional phrases as fragments. Remember that a prepositional phrase will not contain a subject or verb, which means it can never be a sentence. Because prepositional phrases are part of sentences, the best way to correct this fragment is to join it with the sentence. Here's our example. Instead of watching television. Then we have another independent clause. We decided to go to the movies. Combine them. Instead of watching television, we decided to go to the movies. Nice sentence. Infinitive phrases as fragments. Remember that the infinitive is the to form of the verb. This fragment occurs when a writer tries to use the infinitive as the verb in the sentence. Simply combine them with the sentence to which they belong. And here's our sample. To dance with the bride at a Mexican wedding, period. You must pay money to her dress, and there's our independent clause. Let's add them together. To dance with the bride at a Mexican wedding, you must pay money to her dress. We can also flip it and reverse the order of the clauses. You must pay money to her dress to dance with the bride at a Mexican wedding. Both of those are good sentences. Let's look at participle phrases as fragments. Remember that the present participle is the ing form of the verb. They can only serve as the verb in a sentence when they are accompanied by a helping verb. Like the infinitive, the present participle is confused with the main verb and a fragment results. Simply connect these fragments to the correct independent clause. And there's our sample, walking in the park Tuesday. And here's our independent clause, I found $10. Let's put them together. Walking in the park Tuesday, I found $10. Good sentence. Let's reverse it. I found $10 walking in the park Tuesday. Do you see a little problem with that sentence? There is another way to fix a participial fragment. Revise the sentence by supplying the missing subject or verbs or both. Here's our sample again. Walking in the park Tuesday, I found $10. Okay, we joined them together to make a nice sentence. Walking in the park Tuesday, I found $10, and there's our comma. Then we flipped it. I found $10 walking in the park Tuesday. Now, there's a slight problem with that sentence. It's a little confusing because it almost seems as if you found $10 walking, like the $10 was actually taking a walk in the park, and that's not what you meant. So we change it, we revise it, and we add the subject. I walked in the park Tuesday, and I found $10. Okay, and now we have a good sentence. Noun phrases as fragments. A noun followed by a modifier with no main verb is a fragment that can be corrected by supplying the missing verb. Here's our sample. John Lennon, comma, known for being the lead singer of the Beatles. All we have to do is add a verb to make that a good sentence. John Lennon is known for being the lead singer of the Beatles. Dependent clauses as fragments. Remember that dependent clauses have subjects and verbs but do not express a complete thought, so they will often end up as fragments. Dependent clauses are introduced with subordinating conjunctions or relative pronouns. To correct a dependent clause fragment, simply add an independent clause. You may also revise the sentence by deleting the subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. And here's an example. The Beatles are my favorite rock group. Good sentence. Although Led Zeppelin defined the hard rock era. Fragment. We see the subordinating conjunction although at the beginning, and we see also that that sentence does not express a complete thought. So let's go to the next one. The Beatles are my favorite rock group, although Led Zeppelin defined the hard rock era. Good sentence. We join together our dependent clause to our independent clause. Let's flip it. Although Led Zeppelin defined the hard rock era, the Beatles are my favorite rock group. Still a good sentence. Now, we can also delete that subordinating conjunction. Let's get rid of the word although. The Beatles are my favorite rock group, period. Led Zeppelin defined the hard rock era, period. Both of those are good sentences. However, the problem with doing this is that you lose some interest. If you have an entire essay of simple sentences, it will be boring. Okay, a run-on sentence is two sentences, two independent clauses, run together without punctuation. Run-ons occur when coordinating conjunctions, commas, and semicolons are omitted. There are 4 ways to correct a run-on sentence. Here's the sample we're going to work with. Caroline decided to make banana bread. She forgot the sugar. That is 2 independent clauses joined together. Our first independent clause is Caroline decided to make banana bread. Our second independent clause is she forgot the sugar. And we put them together with no conjunction, no comma, and no semicolon. It's a run-on. So let's fix it. Here's the first method, the one that we're the most familiar with. Put in a comma and a conjunction. Add one of those lovely fanboys. Caroline decided to make banana bread, comma, but she forgot the sugar. Good sentence. You can also change one of the independent clauses into a dependent clause, okay, and join them together. Caroline decided to make banana bread, although she forgot the sugar. Okay, that's good. We can also insert a semicolon. Caroline decided to make banana bread, semicolon. She forgot the sugar. Good sentence. And we can also make it 2 separate sentences. Caroline decided to make banana bread, period. She forgot the sugar, period. Comma splices. A comma splice can be corrected in the same ways as a run-on sentence. Isn't that wonderful? Let's take a look at this comma splice. Evelyn bought me the new Beatles CD, comma, she said I would like it. We see 2 independent clauses joined together with just a comma. The first independent clause, Evelyn bought me the new Beatles CD. The second independent clause, she said I would like it. So we have to fix those. So let's go back through our 4 methods that we've just discussed. Insert a comma and a conjunction. Go back to those fanboys. Evelyn bought me the new Beatles CD, comma, and she said I would like it. Change one of those independent clauses into a dependent clause. When Evelyn bought me the new Beatles CD, she said I would like it. Okay, now we have dependent clause plus independent clause. Makes a good sentence. You can also insert a semicolon. Evelyn bought me the new Beatles CD, semicolon. She said I would like it. And you can also make 2 separate sentences. Evelyn bought me the new Beatles CD, period. She said I would like it. All 4 of those are good corrections to that comma splice. Now let's talk about comma splices and conjunctive adverbs. Comma splices often occur because the writer confuses a conjunction with a conjunctive adverb, such as however, therefore, nevertheless, also, hence, furthermore, besides. When one of these words appears within an independent clause, it is usually set off by commas. The semester, comma, therefore, comma, must continue as planned. Our independent clause there reads like this. The semester must continue as planned. But we want to add that therefore to give our sentence a little bit of emphasis and interest. So we have to set it off with commas. When a conjunctive adverb appears between 2 main clauses, it must be preceded by a semicolon or a period, and it is usually followed by a comma. If the semicolon or period is missing, the result is a comma splice. Let's look at a sample. Classes may almost be over, comma, however, comma, there is still much left to learn. Now, notice what happens on each side of that however. Classes may almost be over is an independent clause. There is still much left to learn is also an independent clause. And all we did was join them together with some commas. Comma, splice. Let's fix it. Classes may almost be over, semicolon. However, comma, there is still much left to learn. Now we have a good sentence. What about this one? Classes may almost be over, period. However, comma, there is still much left to learn. And again, we have corrected those comma splices.